run this, and then open the eyes.
Slow open or quick open?
Slow open.
Okay.
Might be morning when you are. Probably opening your eyes. I have a version of me. You taught it to me. You wrote it and you taught it to me. And then the first acoustic version I ever played of it was just me in Ecuador from the bedroom that I was using for my host family down there. I distinctly remember putting in the description of like the Facebook video, this is going to be a Pistols and Parachutes song eventually.
Yeah.
Like I knew it even back then, and that was 10 years ago now.
I explicitly remember I sent it to you, and I think your response was like, we'll throw that on the pile for when we make the folk record. I'd written it in a weird spot. We were a rock band for a while, but then our drummer moved away, and Graham moved to Ottawa, and you went to Ecuador. And so this one was me trying to capture the feeling of like that distance and separation that you feel, right? Like, and I explicitly, as I was writing it, was writing some pieces of it like from your perspective of like what I imagined it would feel like to be there far away from everyone.
Yeah. That was sort of the angle where the song was written, and so I didn't know that at first, so he just showed me the song and I'm like, dude, I totally relate to this. I wonder why.
And then some, like, from the perspective of someone who is still here, missing you, and feeling like, you know, in my head I thought of that perspective as maybe being your mom's.
Yeah.
What I imagined that would feel like. Mm-hmm. And the lines kind of blurred as to what sections of the song were each perspective.
Put parts of yourself into it,
right? Well, yeah, because that was the other thing, right? Is we'd been roommates for all through university, and so like I also was missing you, and it was weird that you were so far away. So yeah, I wrote this song. It might be morning where you are. Then you came back. We made another rock band. We recorded another rock album.
Just kept getting seduced by rock and roll.
The devil's music. Sorry. Okay, so Coffee Song.
Yeah.
Right? So that's how when it was written. And then we didn't consider it as a potential song for the Saccharine Blues. It just didn't fit that project. Mm-hmm. So the first time we really thought about it again as doing it as the Pistols and Parachutes was, I think, on the initial list for this. Like, I'm pretty sure you pitched it as like, this one should be on this record when we first started trying to narrow down the songs.
Oh, totally. Yeah, I just knew. I'm just going to pause this for a second. It's narrator Carlin here to provide a bit more context. The record that Matt and I are talking about pitching songs for right now is our newest album. The reason I wanted the Coffee Song to be on our newest album is because of the way we conceptualized the project from the beginning. When we started working on this album in 2018, Matt and I wanted it to be a reboot of the band's sound. Our drummer and bass player from our previous rock group had moved on, and Matt and I found ourselves, once again,
we can go back to square one.
The only members of Pistols and Parachutes.
It might be morning where you are.
Just like it was when the band started.
You can check us out at www.purevolume.com/pistolsandparachutes.
You could probably forget the www though. Most internet browsers will recognize it if you leave that out.
Sure.
Throughout our band's history, we had always written a bunch of songs in a more folky, acoustic style that never quite fit onto our 2010s rock albums. For whatever reason, whenever we set out to record an album, we had always been part of a group of 4 people and gravitated towards rock music. Which is cool, because rock is awesome. But this time around, we wanted it to be different. This time around, rock was out.
It might be there. Hang on.
I don't think I can go a lot farther back from here.
No, this is a good position though, I think.
Folk and pop were in. Distorted electric guitars were out. Acoustic guitars were in. This meant a few things to us. First, we could record an album without needing to form another band. Second, we could rearrange and re-record acoustic versions of some of our best rock songs, and touch up songs that we still felt could be better. And last, but certainly not least, we could take older songs from our band's history, like the Coffee Song, and finally give them a home. So that's what we did. In 2019, we set out to finally record a proper version of the Coffee Song.
We went into that weekend having no idea what Coffee Song was going to sound like. We'd been feeling really discouraged.
Yeah, because the earlier sessions we did in 2018 at your house, they started out as just acoustic versions of the exact arrangements of some of our songs that we did as a rock band. It just didn't feel like it had that magic. It felt like, why are we doing this?
There were some recordings that had been done prior to me stepping in, and one of the thoughts, it's just not sounding alive enough. And those were sort of the skill set I knew how to help with, right? And I think one of the things was like, hey, we used to record back in Vauxhall in this big open hall in a church or whatever. Can we go back there and do that? I think there was some, the natural reverb and the being back in that same setting, I think gave me hope that we could get there with Coffee Song.
We started the day with just this rough single microphone guitar recording and a vocal, and I remember us kind of sitting there going like, what the hell do we do with this? Like, what do we play on it?
Because we only ever played it either just you by yourself or me by myself.
Yeah, we had never played it together.
We never played it together live. We'd never like workshopped it, because we used to, back in the day, we used to like workshop how to play songs together, and then we would try them out live at like Al Acoustic Lounge or something, right?
Yeah, go to an open mic or something, and we never got a chance to do that with this one. But somewhere in there, I remember us like writing this like weirdly almost flamenco-y like finger style guitar part, and just like laughing to ourselves, because like that is not the style of music that we play. We gave ourselves this permission to like just try weird shit.
But yeah, just what the hell do I play brought you to that place.
It just worked.
Yeah.
Everybody looked at each other and we knew it was back. It was happening, and this was good. This was not just this was going to work. This is exciting.
This is it. This is what was missing. In the space of probably one 18-hour day, we wrote the rest of the song and recorded it. I remember it was like 2 a.m. as we're like packing up all the recording gear. I'm sitting at the laptop frantically mixing down a version of it, and so that we could listen to it on the way home. And we're driving home, and I remember listening to it and being so upset because I had mixed it too loud and it was so distorted I couldn't listen to it. So we're like driving back from Vauxhall, and we drive through Tabor, and it's about halfway, and I pulled into the parking lot of the McDonald's to try and use the Wi-Fi. so that I could upload a new version of it, and I couldn't get on the Wi-Fi, so I had to hotspot it on my phone, and I frantically like mixed down a new version of it and used that to upload it to SoundCloud and texted you a new link so that you guys could listen to it too. Mm-hmm. But I just couldn't not, because I was so excited about this song, and it sounded so good, and it sounded so much better than everything else we had been trying for the project at the time. And like, honestly, I think that recording probably saved the whole project. Like, I don't know if that didn't happen, I don't know if we keep doing this project. Like,
totally. I remember being excited about it and it being the impetus to keep going.
Yeah. We were like, oh, if we can make everything else sound like this, then it's worth doing.
Action.
And it's so cool that, we were excited by that first version of it, and then it changed again. Yeah. And how it changed again was we wanted to bring a professional drummer to play on it. Can you talk about the moment where we had drums, and then we couldn't get them to work, and then we took away my rhythm guitar, and then all of a sudden it was there.
It was with Coffee Song, when we were ready to, we got this beautiful drum track, and in isolation we loved it. And I think at first we didn't hear it I heard it in isolation, but I didn't get to share it with you guys in isolation. We layered it over top, and it wasn't quite meshing with some of the other parts we had, and so I think the first reaction was, the drums aren't working.
I remember listening to that with the rest of the song and going, oh, something feels weird.
But listen to these drums, guys. And it just let you hear the drums. And I remember seeing kind of you guys lean in a little bit, and everybody's like, well, if there's any way we can make that work,
we realized that what was not working was my rhythm guitar track, which was just a chugga rhythm.
Yeah,
it was clashing with the drums because they were serving the same purpose.
Well, and it was originally the scratch track.
Yeah.
So it had lasted all the way through to that point, and then we took it out,
and all of a sudden it was back.
Yeah.
The song had groove again.
Might be morning where you are, probably opening your eyes. Coffee smells like 3 a.m. I hope yours tastes better than mine.
We ended up re-recording a good chunk of it. Like, you started recording bass for the song. I played my guitar part. And then that was us, learning our lesson a little bit of like, right, you're supposed to build a song from drums and bass up.
Yes. And the drummer sets it, and we go to the drummer. The drummer is king.
That was the bones of a new song, a new arrangement of this song, which really was awesome. And then we just went back and re-recorded parts so that they all fit together, and it just transformed it.
Matt's acoustic and the drums really meshed, and that's where the genesis of me going, oh, I better play something else now. I'm going to take out the telly.
It is doable. I also like that I'm playing with fingers now.
Yeah.
It's helping to dig in. Like, I just have more dynamic to play with.
It transformed quite a bit, both from the drums and the bass that you wrote for it, and that that electric guitar part that you wrote, the Telly part.
Which was very challenging for me. It was stepping into, it wasn't my typical role of writing actual lead guitar passages and stuff that's supposed to be like musical and serve as a counter melody to the vocals. That was normally your wheelhouse, but this time I did it, and it was challenging. But I'm quite proud of some of the lines that I came up with.
I remember I was mildly concerned when you started doing that, because that was also the point. That was one of the songs where we started to go, maybe this isn't just an acoustic record. I think I had tracked one little electric part on the end of First of Spring, that like outro lead bit.
You did, yeah.
And but that was pretty much it as far as electric.
Remember when you first put down this electric guitar, we're like, why would you put electric guitar? Like, there was a discussion about it. Like, should we put electric guitar on this? And it was so it turned out to be so prescient about like where everything else was going, because it now introduces that.
Might be morning where you are. Probably opening your eyes.
Oh, this is sweet.
This coffee smells like 3 a.m.
When you started doing that, and we got Coffee Song pretty much to the place it is now, and kind of went, oh, this is the kind of record we're making now. You know, it's not just going to be an acoustic record. It's
primarily acoustic with shades of other things.
Right? Like, it's still, the acoustic guitar is still the primary instrument. But it's not an acoustic record anymore.
We loved the Telly tone. There was resistance early in the project about whether to even bring in any kind of electric guitars or whatever. And so every time we would introduce a little bit, and it's just a clean Telly sound that's there, but with some effects, you know, but it added so much energy, so much bite, and it worked.
That was a bit of a shift.
Yeah.
But I think that was a big part of what ended up getting the record to where it is now.
We ran into the problem early on about the limitations of the acoustic guitar as the primary instrument. Now, I mean, there are some masters of acoustic guitar who I can listen to them play almost endlessly, but also that becomes what it's about, is their technique and their the intricacies of the guitar part. And this project was about the songs, right?
But sometimes I get frustrated with the push and pull of taking songs to places where I didn't think they were going.
What Coffee Song needed was that Telly. And when that came, that just added the shine to it.
When we choose a song for the record, it usually is something that I have a pretty clear picture about. Sometimes specifically about what it will sound like. Sometimes it's just about what the feel of the song is to me when I play it on one acoustic guitar and sing the song. And when we're pulling the song away from that into new spaces, you like to risk it. And I would much rather not, usually. That is, I don't know if frustrated is the right word for that, but it's definitely something that, like, that makes me wildly uncomfortable. Fortunately, Carlin and my dad know me well enough that they just do it anyway.
It might be morning where you are.
Fresh coffee.
You're probably opening your eyes.
And usually that ends up taking those songs and making them way better than they were. Yeah, I guess that's sort of the answer.
I quite like this brew.
It's narrator Carlin here again. I'd just like to add that the coffee song was an example of when Matt warmed up to the idea of a new direction to a song. There's another song on our newest album where Matt's misgivings were strong and persistent enough that we actually walked back one of the creative choices we made. But that's another song story for another day.
There was one mix of Coffee Song that we put up on SoundCloud, and it was the first, we called it Fresh Coffee. And like, I listened to that version, I listened to that mix probably 30 times over the course of a few days after we first put it up, because I just couldn't stop.
Me too. I remember just playing it at my place and then finishing it and being like, that's a fucking hit. Like in my head, I'm thinking like, that's a fucking hit.
Played it over and over. Like I would play it and it would finish and I'd hit play again.
Yeah.
And I'd hit play again.
Yeah.
And just kept going back to it. I was like, this is so good.
I know.
Rolling again and action. Take a step back, just walk backwards with it. Do it again. Good.
In the Coffee Song, my favorite part is there's this one bit on the telly. It's right in like on the quiet chorus, right around in that bridge quiet chorus area, and it just, the vocals get quiet and the guitar does this cool little line up, and oh man, every time I hear it, I'm just kind of, I go, ooh, I get good shivers. It's awesome.
What's your favorite part of Coffee?
It's probably the telly, but it's the way the telly's playing off the drums, right? The rhythm of it, I guess.
The intro is vocals right away, hook, hook, hook. It's a piece of candy of a song. We're releasing it ahead of the record. We have released it ahead of the record, and hopefully you like it. Because if you like that song, there's more coming. So that's Coffee Song.
I wonder how many people think Ryan Reynolds is sitting here in Lethbridge in a flower costume.